Well, good day and welcome back. Well, this is one of my favorite typewriters. This is an Underwood Olivetti Studio 44. I think this is one of the best portable Olivettis that they made. This was made after the merger between Olivetti and Underwood, so it's branded as an Underwood-Olivetti. I also have another one of these, older, that's kind of the beige color, that's just Olivetti. This one was made in Barcelona, Spain. My other one was made in Invria, Italy. So I wanted to take this out and start using it again. This is one of the joys of having a typewriter collection, is the variety of machines that you can enjoy. So I knew that I loved this machine, so brought it out, hadn't used it in a while, and I started noticing that the imprint looked a little bit light colored. Well, I manually advanced the ribbon, thinking I had a dry spot in the ribbon, but I really had to hit the keys kind of hard, and if I hit them a little bit softer, they would print really light. So I thought, well, there's something going on here, and I don't think it's the ribbon because I had replaced it like within the last year or so. So I was lucky enough to have purchased the Olivetti Letter 32 and Studio 44 Typewriter Repair Bible from Ted Monk. And I started thinking, you know what, this could be the ring and cylinder adjustment might need to be adjusted on this. So let's dig into the ring and cylinder adjustment, see if that's the problem. How do you fix it? Stay tuned. So to remove the body shell, I want to remove this screw, this screw, this screw, and this screw. And there should be some washers associated with them and some rubber bushings as well. And then to remove the bottom panel, there is a screw inside each foot. You want to take them out and the feet come right out. Like that. Panel comes right off like that. Okay, let's look and see what the ring and cylinder adjustment is all about. Well, the name cylinder refers to the platen roller itself, and the ring in question is this anvil ring that is below the print position. So every type bar is going to have these little protrusions, and when you type, the protrusion hits this curved ring, the anvil, and that's the hard stop that defines how far forward the type bar can hit. So the ring and cylinder adjustment is making sure that the clearance between the face of the type and the platen is close enough to make a good imprint. So Olivetti has their own procedure for checking this. I'll show you what it is now. So first of all, you want to get a scrap of paper, and you're first of all going to not use any other paper. So take it out of the machine here. So what we're going to do, and also set it to the bichrome, to the stencil position. So what we're going to do is I'm going to push the type bar against the anvil with a piece of paper, and I'm going to note how much force there is, how much drag there is on the piece of paper. Then I'm going to put that same piece of paper at the anvil and push on the head of the type slug itself. And those two tests should give me the same amount of drag on the piece of paper. If it does, then it means it is properly set up. Now, this machine here was printing too light. So you might be able to see here, it's just not dark enough. And when I did the test, I found that there's too much clearance between the face of the type guide and the platen. It was too loose. So the platen needs to come forward. So let's look and see how we do that on the Olivetti Studio 44. So I am referring to the Olivetti Letter 32 and Studio 44 Typewriter Repair Bible that Ted Monk sells. These are great manuals. So we'll turn to the Studio 44 section and on page 158. So this is referring to a side view of the bracket that holds the carriage in place. This is a diagram of the cross-section of the platen. There are two jacking screws here, and this is the test with a piece of paper between the typeface and the platen, pushing on the anvil position of the type bar. And then figure 78 is the other test where you have the piece of paper between the anvil and you're pushing on the type bar itself on the back of the type slug. Those two tests should give you the same amount of drag if this setup is proper. And according to what it is, if there's no impact on the platen, in other words, if the clearance between the platen and the typeface is too loose, the platen itself must be brought forward, so closer to the print position. The rear regulator's P must be screwed in further, and so they're talking about these two jacking screws back here. We need to drive them up to drive the carriage forward like that. So these are the two screws, this one here and this one over here. They each have a locking nut that we have to loosen first, but we also need to loosen these big bolts. There's one on each side. This is kind of like a master lock that locks this whole casting in place. So we're going to loosen this bolt, one on each side, so this whole thing can pivot a little bit. And then we're going to put a fine slotted screwdriver in here holding the screw so it doesn't turn. And then we're going to loosen the locking nut. And then you're going to turn the screw clockwise and then lock down the nut again. When you lock it down, make sure you hold the screw so it doesn't turn. You're going to do the same amount of turns on both screws, both the left and the right side. I had to do this a full turn in order to get it set right. So I've turned both of these a full turn clockwise, retightened the locking nut, and then retightened this master pivot bolt on both sides. And now you can probably see clearly the difference in printing density between before and after. So it definitely darkened it like the way I wanted it to. It did not affect my on feet or motion, and all of my uppercase characters print fine. So it was a great fix. I'm really happy that I looked in the manual and figured out how to do this. You can see the variability in the way the characters were printing too light, depending on how hard I hit it. But now they're very consistently much darker, which I'm really happy about. And incidentally, if you want to do this to your Olivetti and you want to test type on it with the body panels off, make sure you prop up the chassis on some blocks, because these rods down here are going to hang up on whatever surface it's sitting on otherwise. So I will pivot the chassis down so it's just resting on the edges, the left and right edges of the casting of the frame. And now I can type normally without it hanging up. Okay, so to get the body shell on or off, you want to move the carriage to the far left. And in this case, I'm putting it back on. So you want to kind of fit the body shell under the left side of the carriage. And then you're going to have to lift it up and set it down like that. You'll have 4 screws that go in to hold the body shell to the chassis. Then you have your bottom panel and the 4 feet that go underneath. So as a typewriter hobbyist, one of the things I've noted in the life cycle of owning a typewriter is, because often in this case, this machine I did not have professionally serviced. I had bought it. It was very, very dirty. It was originally going to be a parts machine for the other Studio 44, but I ended up keeping it, cleaning it up. So oftentimes in that case, these machines end up getting like incremental improvements. Like I clean them and service them enough to work, put a new ribbon in them, and then as I'm using them down the road, I find there's another problem, so I go in and kind of tackle that, and I learn each time I do it. And this was just one of those examples. I think when I was thinking about breaking out one of the Studio 44s today, I was thinking in the back of my mind, one of those doesn't type as well as the other one. And the one that was made in Inveri, Italy has like an international keyboard, but this is an American style keyboard, so I kind of like this keyboard better. Incremental improvements, and it really helps to have the typewriter repair Bible for your model, if there is one available, helping you with those adjustments. I never would have figured out that adjustment that racks up the whole frame of the bracket for the carriage, that tilts it up far enough to bring it forward. It wasn't intuitively obvious just looking at the machine. So yeah, I'm really happy that I was able to make it so it prints better. So I'll leave you now. I have letters to write. But I wish you the very best in your creative pursuits. If you have a typewriter collection, even a small collection, make those incremental improvements. Bring each one of the models in your collection up a little bit better each time, and you'll be happier with using them as creative writing tools. And so, as always, I wish you the very best. Stay creative and have yourselves a great day, and bye-bye for now.